Hello. Today is April 14th? 15th.
15th.
15th. It's the 15th. I instantly forgot. And today's
It's Wednesday. Now, before we start, I have to address something.
Right.
Did you just double coffee?
I did.
What do you mean double? Is he double
He
fisting?
came in double fisting his coffees.
I've reached the point where, like, I know my sleep schedule's messed up, and I'm like, you know what? It's 5 p.m. I might as well just have another coffee.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for me, I don't drink the caffeine, but it's the naps with the cats that are getting me. Because I'll just like lay down for it's like, oh, I'll go pet the cats for a minute, and then it's just like nap time.
The joys of getting older.
And then I'm done. I can't sleep at night. It's terrible.
We're very, very fortunate too that, you know, demand for computer people is still like super high. It turns out we're the only people that can work. So we're expected to do things like run the customer service center and run product returns and run the entire company pretty much.
I had a client who was like, are you in the office? Can I come by your office? And it's like, no.
No.
No, you cannot. No.
We had another client who was really upset. Like, it was right when all this was starting. And I kind of had the attitude, it's like, well, this is stupid that we have to meet remotely. And I wonder if they've changed their tune at this point. And when it comes to meeting remotely, as we discussed in the last episode, Zoom is king of the hill. Or perhaps at this point we should say were. Because a lot has happened and everybody hates them now.
American schools are banning Zoom and switching to Microsoft Teams.
As we noted before, a couple of penises have showed up in the school chats, and you can't have that. You just can't have it. Some recordings have gotten out, and that's a privacy issue, a big privacy issue.
I guarantee you the developers were like, this could be abused. And the executives were like, no, it's too hard. We got to do the easy thing. It's like, okay.
As long as they had that written down somewhere.
Now, that is a case-by-case basis. Each school system is making their own decision, but it seems like it's snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are not alone. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Gizmodo has the article that Zoom is accused of misrepresenting security measures in a new lawsuit. And by security measures, we mean any security whatsoever, because it turns out there's not much.
Well, they said end-to-end encryption.
It's not.
That was part of their advertisements.
End-to-end to end-to-end.
Well, yeah, the one of the ends being Zoom itself. So there's
Which could be in China.
No encryption between you and Zoom. They can still read your crap. So this guy was a shareholder, and he was part of the IPO, and he was like, hey, if you'd been honest about this, I'd have a lot more money, and I wouldn't be losing my shirt now.
Yeah.
And I'm very angry. So he probably has a pretty good suit. Because some of the biggest names are getting on this blacklist bandwagon.
Google told its workers that they cannot use Zoom anymore on their laptops. This follows suit from our government news yesterday, where everybody's like, let's not use Zoom internally because turns out we don't know what it's doing. And what it is doing, not secure.
And, oh, wait. I thought they banned it too. Is this out of order?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that
there
article.
Somewhere.
Apple did too. We don't have an article. But we do have some Apple articles.
Yes.
And first of all, so the last episode we talked about Italy is getting on that thing where they're tracking everybody. Well, South Korea did it first, and then Italy's like, yep, we're going to do that same thing. Here in the U.S., the government isn't doing it yet, but here in the U.S., the government really isn't in charge. So the people who are really in charge are going to do it for us.
Yeah. Apple and Google are working. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Wait, what happens when my enemies are working together? Oh, uh-oh. Apple and Google are launching a joint app to trace people that are infected by the thing. TechCrunch has the article. But this is a little different than what Italy and South Korea are doing. If you dig down into how Apple and Google say that they are doing this, it appears that they found a way to do this in the most privacy-respecting way possible, but it's still kind of invasive. And if you combined this data with another data set, like say your location data set, then that would be really problematic. This does not use your GPS location. It uses Bluetooth beacons. And so your phone keeps a history of all of the beacons that it's come into contact with, but you don't necessarily know who those beacons are. So,
and they rotate every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So your 15-minute ago beacon doesn't matter anymore. But now it's your new number hit a new beacon.
Yeah.
And so every 15 minutes that rolls. And then when somebody hits the big button and says, I got it, then it goes back and it's like, did you ever see this person during any of this time?
The only way that I would feel comfortable with this is if they put Morgan Freeman in charge of like the master keys to look up who all had what beacons.
What?
I don't think we can trust Morgan Freeman.
It's a reference to the Batman movie where
I think it's one of those things where he's too wholesome.
Batman was
There's
like,
darkness there.
I can't do this because I might abuse it. Here, Morgan Freeman,
right.
you control it. And he was like,
that
okay.
was Lucius Fox.
Lucius
That was
Fox, yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman doesn't exist. It's just Red and Lucius Fox.
Okay.
While we're trapped at home, so Zoom is an example of, well, you talked about, the computer people can still work.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some people are killing it. We talked about last week Azure, well, like 1,000%.
Yeah, it's like, do you work in the cloud? Now's a really good time to be in business.
Amazon's not doing too bad either. Some companies are positioned to just crush it when it comes to people being trapped in their homes. But one company who had hoped to maybe isn't doing as good as their competitors.
Apple TV widens free access as Disney Plus passes 50 million subscribers. So Disney Plus is doing really well, but Apple not doing so well. So any numbers that you see from here on out from Apple TV Plus, you're going to have to take it with a number of grains of salt, which are outlined in this article.
Free salt.
Yeah, basically... everybody, if you get an Apple ID, gets like 7 or 8 different TV shows for free. And if you have if you purchase a device, you get a free 3-month trial or something like that. And they're counting all of these free accounts in there. Oh, look how many people have signed up for Apple TV.
And those are TV shows they spent a lot of money on that they're getting nothing back from.
Yeah. I mean, 50 million subs for Disney Plus doesn't really seem like a lot either.
But they just opened up in India. And I think they eclipsed India already, or eclipsed Apple TV in India already.
The question I have, look at this thumbnail. There's this show called Oprah Talks The Thing. Who is she talking to? Is that just posted from her mansion?
Yeah, she's just talking to herself, just ranting.
I can't get my fresh things of scallops from the East Coast every morning. What am I supposed to do on my giant sprawling vista?
You think Oprah regrets leaving the airwaves? She's definitely not as relevant as she once was.
I guess she still probably makes a lot of money, but yeah, she's probably not as well.
She's made of money. She probably generates, $100,000 just wiping her ass.
If the chat hasn't seen that article where she's talking about like an average day in her life, 10 out of 10 would read. Very funny.
But for someone like Oprah, I don't think that number matters anymore.
No.
I mean, she's crushed it. She needs the adoration. She needs to be in the limelight. But maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe she's just loving her retirement. Who knows?
Maybe.
Well,
the fact that she's doing an Oprah Talks special about this maybe points to the latter.
Maybe, Chrissy, you should tune in and give us a book report next week on the Oprah Talks.
I bet someone's already uploaded it to YouTube. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's free. You got the Apple. You got your iPad.
Yeah.
You can watch it on your iPad.
Oh.
So, speaking of Apple, and actually not just Apple, but a lot of companies are stepping up and making new things. Last episode, we talked about NVIDIA. It's like, hey, use our AI powers and destroy this thing. Apple's contribution is not as exciting, but it is very needed.
Apple designs and produces face shields for medical workers working on the thing. So the article goes on to talk about how Apple is designing and producing their own eye shield. Not really, it's just kind of funny. But they're producing a bunch of stuff. But they also source, they're making 1 million a month, or no, 1 million a week. And they sourced 20 million from their supply chain. So it seems like if you can source 20 million from your supply chain, you wouldn't bother making it, but okay, cool, whatever.
That's important if you're in the medical profession and someone is, it's like coughs a big hunk of phlegm onto your face. You have a nice shield there to keep that off of you.
Yeah.
Nice.
At least here here where we are, there was one church gathering that one person managed to infect 50 other people.
That happened in South Korea as well.
I don't know if that would help you in a church situation.
Well, if everybody was wearing face shields and masks.
Yeah, but did you see
it's still such a group, though. And people are very touchy in church. So
Did you see the
like Joe Biden?
Most churches have just switched to the live streams now.
They did a simulation so they had like a 3D modeled supermarket.
Oh yeah, and it went 2 aisles.
The cough. So that face mask ain't gonna do jack against that. You got to have much more powerful stuff. Now, Foxconn created a plant in Wisconsin.
We covered it.
How huge that story was.
Yeah.
And Trump was heavily involved. It was like, this is going to make America great again. It's done nothing. They haven't done anything with it. Now, it takes time to build, but they've changed their mind. They're like, well, maybe we'll make some displays and maybe we'll make some robots. Who knows?
It was going to open next month.
Nobody knows, but now we know what they're going to make, at least.
Foxconn will produce ventilators at its controversial Wisconsin plant when it opens next month, among other products, according to the article. Medtronic. It's going to be like Medtronic open source one of their ventilator designs. That's the thing they're going to make there. So neat.
So that's good. We need those.
It's open source. Anybody can download.
And Tesla, after taking some flack over the BiPAP machines that they passed off as ventilators, they have decided that they're going to do something better. They're going to try and correct that mistake. And interestingly enough, they're going to go like Transformer on it. It's a ventilator, but it's made of car.
Tesla shows how it's building ventilators with car parts. So there is one part that they're producing for Medtronic, but otherwise for Medtronic's supply lines. But otherwise, they are taking that open source or taking the Medtronic thing, I guess, and they're just making their own. So it's not really the Medtronic design; it's the Tesla ventilator design, but with car parts.
So the infotainment screen and everything is going to be like the controls. The computer for the car itself is going to be used. A suspension air tank for the oxygen tank. And just it's all Model 3 parts. It's a Model 3 ventilator. Man.
How long will it take for them to test it on actual patients before they can like mass distribute?
They're going to start using it immediately because which is better, no ventilator or Model 3 experimental ventilator?
Lungs? Like, I don't know.
I think we're beyond that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, here's the thing. If you work in the healthcare industry, think about the cult of Tesla. When it's over and everything's going really well,
items.
Take it home. Get one of those. Hang on to it for a few years.
I can just like when I'm old and retired, if I'm still alive, there's like a Christie's auction, and it's like up for auction today is the Apple face mask from the 2020.
It'll be the Roadshow.
Roadshow.
My grandfather lived through the Great Plague, the Shanghai Sneezies.
This is the one that blew out Donald Trump's lungs.
Signed by Bill Gates himself with the original 5 gigahertz activator.
Still got the Russian malware on it.
I hit my mic, I'm sorry. Those are all conspiracy theories, by the way. Like, don't buy into those.
In fact, Donald Trump's lungs not exploded. At least as of the recording. Wow, if that were to happen, we'd be questioned.
He's out. He's out of the hospital.
He's out, yeah.
And
he was in the hospital.
He's quoted as saying it could have gone either way. So Bojo is recovering now, but it was touch and go there for a while. I wonder if that changes his outlook and perspective on things.
Am I the only one who thinks that if it did go the other way, nothing would have changed?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
maybe that now that it went this way, there's a tiny, tiny sliver of a chance that he will have just a bit of introspection and be like, "Am I in the wrong? Should I reconsider?
Should I have taken this a little more seriously when I first got a briefing about it 3 months ago?"
Well,
engagement challenge.
Speaking of companies that are not killing it during the pandemic that you thought might, because gosh, here's a product that seems tailored to this kind of thing, and yet no one wants it.
Google Stadia is now free to anyone with a Gmail address, and Stadia Pro is also free for 2 months. So you can try Stadia Pro for 2 months, and then Google's really hoping that you'll subscribe. Please.
Although, isn't it true that you don't get the games for free? You still have to buy them, right?
Well, the games like Destiny 2 are probably free.
Oh, that's the Pro subscription. Okay, yeah.
The top comment on this article is, "Nah, I'm good."
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't that really exacerbate the bandwidth problem that we may or may not be having.
Well, I've been really tempted to post and tweet out because we've got the good old games affiliation, and there have been a ton of amazing good old game sales. Like Fallout 4 was like 94% off or something crazy like that. And it's like, if you really don't have anything to do, you can just get these games DRM free, and they're amazing.
I'm really ashamed to admit that if it's between GOG and Steam, I'll get it on Steam just because it's more convenient.
Yeah.
It's like, God, I feel bad about this. I'm part of the problem here.
There have been a couple of games that I got on Steam, and I installed them originally through Steam, but they're now on like the Epic Games installer or some other installer. So like I can't. It's like a dual installer thing, and it didn't. Getting it on Steam didn't save me as much as I thought it would.
Well, because Steam is falling from grace.
Yeah.
Sad.
Would you say that you using Steam is better or worse than people who pre-order?
Oh, it's nowhere near as bad.
That's probably true.
That's like HPV versus AIDS. That's the comparison for that. We're here in the limbo, and who knows what's going to happen. A lot of people are, including our president, are talking about when's it time to get back to work. With the massive everyday record growth, it seems like maybe not now, but who knows how that's going to go.
That's what we call an exponential curve, chat.
But some companies are putting a timeline on it, and Microsoft's timeline is a little bleak.
Yeah. All Microsoft events will be digital only until July 2021. Build 2021 will likely be a digital event. I think it's probably going to be August or September.
Of
2020.
Of 2020, yeah.
Now, will Microsoft walk this back if that happens?
I doubt it. Because they don't usually have anything at the end of the year.
I was really hoping, like, initially that maybe it'd be like mid-June we would be out of quarantine, but I don't
think so. It's going to be like September. At best case scenario, it's September. These people that will not honor the quarantine might push it farther out.
Oh, I want to do my hike.
No.
I was supposed to start May 1st, and now that's not going to happen. It's a bummer.
Just hike up and down your stairs.
I've been walking around my neighborhood every day, which Rue loves, but it's not the same.
I've been thinking about getting a harness for the cats, just to take them out in the yard. Trying to get a tape measure around them is the most infuriating thing I've ever done. Because they're like, yes, I will attack this. Thank you. I would love to attack this. I cannot measure them.
They might be worse trying to get them. I don't know. So like Rue at first, when she was a puppy and I started putting in her harness, she didn't love it. But then when she realized, like, when the harness comes out, I get to go outside, then she'll sit really still while you put it on.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the cats would do
that's
the
going to be a huge problem, getting the harness on them.
Yeah.
But, baby steps, I guess. They're cowards at heart, so I think once I get them outside, they'll calm right down at first. But getting the harness on, that's going to be interesting.
You should have them in the news 1 week. We can alternate. Rue 1 week, cats the next.
I'm not going to bring them here. But
podcast.
If I do one from home, I'm going to try to remember to grab my camera to take home. Because I think people are now spoiled because everybody's on camera. Like if you do a Twitch stream without a camera, they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this?
Pretty soon you're going to be setting up like purple neon lights in your basement and all that kind of stuff.
A green screen.
Well, back to Microsoft. Again, they are definitely erring on the side of caution when it comes to all of their predictions for the coming year. Basically, they're saying no.
Microsoft, don't expect any Windows 10X devices this calendar year. Windows 10X, in case you've missed it, because we reported on it repeatedly, Windows 10X is a dual screen device. It is Microsoft finally maybe fulfilling their promise of the Courier tablet, which was the total hype machine when the iPad came out. The iPad came out and Microsoft said, oh yeah, well, we've got this amazing dual screen device that we're going to call the Courier tablet. And they did a promo video for it, and it looked like an incredible, amazing device that never came out because the software didn't exist. This is a dual screen device that you can use one screen as a keyboard, sure, but I don't know. The closest device that's currently in the market is probably the Lenovo IdeaPad, which has one e-ink screen and one LCD screen, but Windows 10X is designed for dual LCD screen devices. Maybe the Asus, the fancy Asus media creation laptop that's got like a little screen above the keyboard, maybe.
So they're going to work on 10X for single screen devices, which not sure what that's going to be. And maybe in the future they'll do a dual screen device, but not until people have money again.
Classic Microsoft schizophrenia. Windows 10X is for dual screen devices, now compatible with single screen devices. And it's like, what?
Just wild card it. You got to play the wild card all through the crisis. And definitely playing some wild cards is Huawei. Now we know that Huawei, their Achilles heel right now is trying to get parts and operating systems from American companies. Currently illegal. They might be sidestepping that a little bit, but I think something's going to happen there, and they're not going to be able to do that anymore. So what do? You got to try to make your own.
Huawei may enter the GPU business, reportedly hiring NVIDIA employees. I tried to find another source for this that was different than this source, and I don't know if, like, NVIDIA employees going to work at Huawei, it just doesn't seem right.
Pay cut.
Yeah. But not just a pay cut, but also, like, what career future will you have?
Well, I'll tell you what career future you could have if you get a USB drive out with you, is you could retire in China.
Do you really want to retire in China after this?
Well, that's the place you want to be now.
If you could retire in China and be sure that you would be left alone and have a comfortable existence, but I don't think that would ever be true.
Roll the dice. I'm sure the CCP would make you very comfortable if you got Huawei out of dependence on outside GPUs. At least until the next iteration of the government. If the revolution comes, you might be in trouble. And speaking of bad business decisions, do you know what the Galaxy Fold, how that's doing?
No, not off the top of my head.
I hadn't heard anything.
I don't think it's blowing the world up.
No.
Of course, a lot of people are probably not refreshing their phones right now.
Yeah.
But everybody knows about the Galaxy Fold. That was the foldy phone, and it came out and it was terrible, and they maybe fixed it and maybe it's good now, but then it failed the test again on CNET. Well, what you might not know is that Huawei also made one. In fact, I'm pretty confident you don't know about it because no one's buying it.
Huawei has lost at least $60 million on the Mate XS foldable. So they're not really saying how many they've sold, but they're selling it for $2,500 US. Not a lot of people buying it, and they're still losing money.
Yeah, and that's an expected loss at $2,500.
Yeah.
Look at this photo too. Like, that just looks like garbage.
Yeah, not a great press photo.
No, not at all.
Because the seam is very on display here.
It looks broken. Yeah. Ugh.
How much is the Samsung one? That's like $1,500, right? Oh, is it $2,000?
I think so.
Weird that the Huawei one's more expensive. And online cloud services, online chat tools, all killing it right now. Everybody needs that in their life. But as we just said, one component that goes along with that not everybody has is the camera. And if you want to be cool on Zoom, you got to have the animated backgrounds and all that stuff. Well, you got to have a camera. What if you don't have one right now?
Webcams have become impossible to find, and prices are skyrocketing. It's like they showed an eBay listing for $300 for like an $80 crap USB webcam. Yeah, it's like we got enough around here. It's like let's just go ahead and sell them, and then whenever this clears up, we'll just get some new ones. I
might have mentioned this already on the news. I watched a documentary about mushrooms, and this guy sells mushroom pills. And one of the things that they claim to do, it's that whole like non-FDA stuff. One of the things they claim to do is boost immunity. So I was curious after watching the documentary. It had nothing to do with what's going on. I just happened to watch it, and I was like, oh, let me go to his website. And there's just a big banner at the top of the website. It's like, we're out. We're done. And so
what kind of mushrooms were it? Was it turkey tail?
It was a mixture. It was like the immunity blend. So I went to Amazon, $400 a bottle, because people believe that it boosts your immunity.
Well,
so
I mean,
they've actually done studies about turkey tail mushrooms, which grow like literally like weeds all over the place here.
Well, this guy talked a great game, and when he was talking about how great it was and all the stuff it's going to do, I was like, yeah, maybe I should check this out. How expensive is this? But $400 a bottle, a little too high for me. I think under normal circumstances they're like 20.
Everywhere.
Well, I mean, wasn't it last week we reported that they're suspending production of the Corona beer because people are really stupid?
Well, no, that's just because Mexico's gone on lockdown.
Yeah.
Beer is not essential. So
it is here though. I mean, the liquor stores are even allowed to do delivery.
But
I assume that's probably because of people who are like alcoholics. You don't want them to go withdrawal and
DTs will kill you.
Yeah.
But I don't think I respect the mushroom, sure, but I don't think even the most powerful mushroom in the world is going to stop a virus from attaching to your cells.
No.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of evidence coming out that a lot of people are asymptomatic and just spreading it around like crazy.
That could be any one of us. That could be either one of you.
Yeah, could be.
You could be spreading it right now.
I could be.
I got this little dial on my car, and you turn the dial, and you go to sport mode or race mode or track mode, and the exhaust gets louder, and the suspension stiffens up. It's really cool. And you might have that button on your phone too, except it's not a button. You don't get to control it. But you do have sport mode.
MediaTek accused of cheating in benchmarks and accuses a key competitor too. So this is on Android Authority. This is actually a summary of an expose from Annentech. Annentech had the original article. They broke the news on this. But basically, whenever you're running PC Mark, it throws the CPU in overdrive. It drinks the power. It's just not realistic. And you don't have any control over it, and it's completely not transparent to the end user. And this is different than other phones that have been caught. It's like, oh, when you're running the benchmark, let's enable faster clocks or whatever. Because some of those other phones actually do expose a quote-unquote sport mode for gaming and things like that, where you can play at a higher frame rate with higher clocks, but it's going to drain your battery a lot faster. In this case, they had overclocked the CPU so much that it was outperforming a newer, more recent, lower power version of the same CPU in mobile.
They kind of defended it. They didn't really deny it. But they were just like, yeah, we make our phones really good with certain applications. Isn't that a good thing? So they kind of sidestepped the whole you're cheating thing.
Well, if you run PC Mark as PC Mark, it was fast. But if you run PC Mark renamed to notepad.exe, it did not run fast.
Seems fishy, but they're proud of it.
Yeah, they'll change their tune once everybody is like, stop doing that.
It might fly under the radar, though. You can get away with stuff right now. That's the sad truth. This story, I'm not even sure why I included this. This was a boring read, but it's here, so let's talk about it.
Cloudflare has dumped reCAPTCHA as Google intends to charge for its use. Cloudflare says it's moving to HCAPTCHA, an alternative capture service that's more private than reCAPTCHA. Let's not forget that reCAPTCHA is what Google used to generate data sets to train its AI. Like, pick the stop sign, pick the crosswalk, pick the thing. It would ask people that a bunch of times, and then once it had a consensus, it would use that to figure out images for their image recognition AI. And now they're going to charge you for it now that they got it working well.
And then Cloudflare pointed out that they dumped more traffic into that teaching than anybody.
Yeah.
And Google should kind of be happy about that. But Google says, I don't think so, bro. Give us some cash. And they are going to pay the other guys. They're not getting it for free. But they said it was a fraction of the cost. Which those guys probably still need to build their data set.
Yeah.
You see there's some good news on the sidebar in this article? Bootstrap is dropping IE support. Oh,
well, that's just
delicious.
That's just IE, not Edge, right? Because isn't IE like officially done now?
It's been dead for a long time.
Since Windows 7 died, yeah.
Yeah,
we were trying to drop IE, starting January of this year, and people were like, I don't understand. Let's keep using Bootstrap 3.3. And it's just like, oh my God.
Oh, that's great, though. Now I can just, refer people to that article.
And they can be like, hey. I don't have time to read this. Just do what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My call volume has actually gone up a little bit. How's yours doing? I mean, non-business.
It's gone up a bit.
My mom has discovered the video call feature.
Oh, on the phone itself?
Yeah, on the phone. And so she's very excited about that. Because my mom is in quarantine by herself. And now she messaged me the other day and she's like, I think I want to get a dog. I'm like, Mom.
Now's not the time.
Did you see a lot of the kennels are empty? The shelters. Like, there's no dogs.
There's still some available around here. I checked and sent her a few candidates.
Yeah, but it's going to be the worst dogs.
Yeah.
You're picking... This is like the great value dogs.
The dogs that just appeared mysteriously behind KFC.
My mom needs like a senior dog, and there aren't very many of those out right now.
I'm sure you could source a dog outside of the shelters somewhere, but those are usually puppies. Why don't you just throw Rue at her a couple days a week?
That'd probably be good.
My mom would be like, I love Rue, but Rue needs a lot of exercise. my mom needs like an old, lazy dog. But yeah, she has been calling me a lot more, and I've been calling her a lot more. Make sure she's still doing good.
Well, apparently even the millennials are picking the phone back up during this time when they've got nothing better to do.
The humble phone call has made a comeback. The volume of phone calls has surged more than internet use as people who want to hear each other's voices in the pandemic. Everybody's lonely. That makes sense. That's why you're still watching the news after like an hour. Come on.
Just to pretend that there's other human beings with you.
It's like, I feel like we're friends now. It's like, okay.
Oh, we don't know each other in real life.
Patreon.com/level1.
And it may be that those people are never going to get a break from that loneliness, because even when all this is over, they will still be stuck in their homes, toiling away.
CFOs looking to make remote work and telecommuting more permanent following the thing, says Gartner survey. So I saw, like, connected to this, I saw a report of commercial landlords. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, basically they're doing the math, and they're like, we always fought against this, but look at the money we're saving.
Yeah.
From the real estate. Wow, we could sell all these buildings. Wouldn't that be something?
You don't have to pay a cleaning lady to come in anymore. Like,
productivity's not down that much.
So yeah, makes sense. I would not be surprised by that. It's I feel like I'm adapting to that work style.
Yeah.
But it is just weird not having that delineation in your day.
Are you contemplating getting a separate work machine now?
No, I don't find a problem with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really like tempted to waste time during that thing. Like, if just because it's there, I'm not like, oh, I have to go, do this. It's just weird that like at some point in the day, it's not even a different screen.
Yeah, you go home and look at good screen after looking at bad screen.
Exactly.
But now they're both the same, and
it's like, you get to that point in the day, it's like, I'm just tired of being in this room, but this is the fun room.
Yeah. That's why I take walks all the time now. Like for lunch, I don't even eat most of the time. I just go take a walk because I just want to get away from bad screen.
Well, if you do have two separate machines, we make this amazing KVM. We've got a dual port DisplayPort 1.4 KVM coming out soon that will hook up to two computers. We're not doing the 4-port model soon. There's going to be a video on that. So the new KVM is almost ready. It'll probably be, we're restocking the old KVMs probably this week, maybe next week. And the new model of KVMs will be out about 6 weeks after that, probably the last 2 weeks of July, first week of August, somewhere through there. But we're going to have it up for pre-order before then for the DisplayPort 1.4 KVM. So 4K 120 hertz.
Just keep in mind, you're going to have $1,200.
Yeah.
What
Save
better
that
to
money.
spend it
Don't
on?
pay your or your taxes or anything like that.
You don't have to pay taxes till July. There's no reason to worry about that right now.
Definitely works with the Asus XG438Q because that's what I've been testing with.
Now this is really the darkest timeline.
It really is.
Can you imagine being stuck at home during all of this with no internet, and you call them up and you say, please sir, I must have internet, and they say, oh, we've got you penciled in for November.
Yeah. Verizon is canceling home internet installations during the thing. We are minimizing our in-home installation work to critical needs. You can still do a self-installation. So if there's not a physical problem with the lines inside your house, stuff will get done. But other than that, you're on your own. This happened locally too. Like, I got internet at the new place, and it didn't work. And I was like, I need help, and they're like, we're not doing in-home things. And I was like, well, I'm going to bring the equipment to the office, swap me the equipment, and they're like, okay, we can do that. And that fixed it, fortunately.
When I moved into my apartment forever ago, my old apartment, I didn't get internet for like 2 weeks, but I felt weirdly like more productive during that time because I just didn't have anything to distract me.
Oh, I got news for you. After a month of that,
Yeah, I'd probably be really
you would
pulling
switch
my hair
back
out.
to
Yeah.
And some people talk about they were doing they still had to work from home, but all through the phone hotspot.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's rough.
tough. Also expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think your employer would pay that for you, right? Maybe.
Probably
I don't
not.
know.
It depends on
if they're a good employer, maybe.
Yeah, if it's a faceless evil corporation, no way, no chance.
Yeah.
WeWork has a little bit of a crisis on its hand. Their whole business model is basically crushed by what has happened. And the thing we just talked about, if people go to remotely working, guess what they don't need anymore? So SoftBank was like, last week they said, we're going to nope on out of this. Good luck. Really, we wish the best for you, but that $3 billion, don't think so.
Yep.
And WeWork really has no choice. They have to try everything that they can here.
WeWork is suing SoftBank in intensifying crisis over their canceled $3 billion tender offer. So, strangely, this article doesn't mention any of the criminal charges or the criminal investigations that are pending against the people in WeWork. But, yeah, so SoftBank is looking at what the state of the company and the stuff that they promised. And even though SoftBank did get what WeWork promised them in terms of seats on the board and some other stuff, WeWork has not materialized into anything that's valuable, especially now because no one is working from home. So WeWork in a little bit of a crisis. I would say that their business model was kind of scammy to begin with, but that's just my opinion.
That's also the opinion of the market. Internet of Things is stupid and smart devices are stupid. We can't say it enough times. You have to repeat it over and over because it's so true.
Friends don't let friends buy smart devices.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. And that has never been... Was that a rue?
What was
No,
that?
I think that was our wind chime. I think a storm's blowing in.
Oh.
Yeah.
That has never been more apparent than when you see stories like these. It's planned obsolescence, just beautifully done. Oh, it's evil.
Samsung's older smart TVs are losing remote control app support. Well, it turns out they already lost support, judging by the number of complaints on the app. This was an app on your phone that lets you use your phone as a remote control for these smart TVs. Well, Samsung just stopped updating the app properly or doing any kind of testing. And so now they've said, you know what? It's going to stop working completely on October 5th. Good luck.
Now, if you call them and complain and say, hey, I need this to work, I need to operate my TV, they'll say, oh, just get the new version. It doesn't work with these TVs. It was never meant to. What they're really saying is, go get a new TV, loser. Yes. You want to get another smart TV from Samsung? I'll sell you one.
Now, if only your TV had some sort of port on it that you could plug a device into, and so like as the device and technology moved on, you could just replace the device that plugs into the TV. So you would only replace a small board such as this one instead of replacing your whole TV.
That
all
sounds
the
like
comments
a terrible
are on the
business
side
model.
of Samsung. They're like, oh, listen, you just need to buy a new television. It's like, but isn't that a lot of waste to generate every 3 to 5 years buying a whole new TV?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a lot of waste. And the newer TVs don't really have feature sets that merit upgrading.
Buying a new one. Yeah.
I have a 32-inch TV that's like 1080p, and it's like an old school IPS type display, and it's got to be pushing 10 years old at this point. And you know what? It's fine.
Yeah. The TV you should get a new TV when it dies.
Right.
Because even if you want to get a new main TV, you could rotate that into another room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason a TV should just stop working at any point. And finally, this is a terrible story to end on, but I kind of sorted them least interesting at the back here. Uber, much like WeWork, Uber is kind of screwed right now because no one's taking taxis when they're not leaving their house. And especially getting into a taxi that an asymptomatic super shedder might have just gotten out of.
Yeah.
It's not a good prospect. People aren't looking to do that. So all those people are out of work, and Uber really isn't helping them much, but they're like, hey, why don't we help you find another job, loser?
Uber connects out-of-work U.S. ride-hail drivers to delivery and production jobs. So if you used to haul people around, you can now haul around people's delivery McDonald's. At least that's the theory. Well, they haven't turned this on in every city yet.
So, but not just that. Like, you can go and work at these other places. So they'll like basically hotline your job application to all of these places here, and for Domino's Pizza. So you could be a delivery driver for Domino's. That's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah. And Target has that. What's the name of their delivery thing that they do?
Oh yeah, we talked about it one.
Do they do delivery?
Yeah, they have like a special delivery thing.
It's the concierge delivery where it's like, walk my dog while you're doing this. It's like, okay. I can't remember. This seems like it would be problematic though, because if it was truly like one gig and then the next gig and then the next gig, can you imagine? It's like, okay, I've got to deliver this Domino's order, and then I got to pick up somebody's grocery order at Target, and then I've got to go over to Hertz Global Holdings and get a rental car. I don't know.
No, you deliver rental cars to. They have a delivery service.
Okay.
So like, I rent a car online and I drive that to you, and then somebody comes and gets me.
Neat.
Yeah. But I don't think that's what's going on here. I think when you sign on with one of these places, you're like a full-time employee, right? Because they're not gig economy. Basically, Uber is just like, we don't need you, so go somewhere else.
The first part of the article made it sound like they were doing the like hookup for delivery for like McDonald's. Like, you can just do food delivery.
Now, they did invite you to do Uber Eats, which they said has just blown up.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. A lot of people are tired of eating at home constantly.
There's a sidebar articles here saying Smithfield shutting down U.S. pork plants indefinitely, warns of meat shortages during pandemic. That makes you feel good. That's a positive story.
Meat shortages are a positive story?
It's in the sidebar in the trending.
Well, why is that positive?
That's what I'm saying. It's not. It's
you're being sarcastic. I thought you were doing like a PETA angle there.
No.
Yeah, the meat has just returned to the grocery store. We can't lose it again.
I know.
I just want some milk.
I gotta keep working on my garden.
There's plenty of cows roaming around. We'll jump in the truck, get us some gallon jugs.
Gosh, the last time I had fresh cow milk was when I was like 11.
All right, well, that's all we got. Friday will be what we haven't done yet, which is going to be social media and security and nonsense.
Yay! Bye!